Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Monday, if it can be said such a thing. And welcome to another edition of the Warmies. I'm your host, Mike Gould. Thank you all for joining us before the Calgary Flames take on the Buffalo Sabres in the final game of this dark mode week. The Flames wearing their Blasty jerseys for the third and final time in a row. They will be wearing them again for 3 dates in March. So if you're a fan of the black look, you'll get to see it again in a few months, but enjoy it because it's only in these 2 little spurts. The Flames undefeated in their Blasty look so far this season, having defeated the Minnesota Wild and the Utah Mammoth on this current homestand, which will end after their game against the Detroit Red Wings in a couple of days. For now, though, they're right in the thick of things, and that extends to their positioning in the Western Conference. Things are getting kind of hairy there. They're no longer at the very basement. Things are starting to really coalesce. They're not in the mix quite yet, but they're close. And they're getting closer, I should say. So it'll be an interesting night. Oh, I think that might have just been the cat coming up. Oh, making little moves. Look at this. Oh, almost a little cameo on the show, a little tail action there in our frame on the Warmies live from the Sports Interaction Studio. It's the Sports Interaction Studio is more of a construct than anything else. There's so many different locales that it occupies. And tonight, this is the Sports Interaction Studio. And thank you all for joining us. Sports Interaction, great little site with lots of different options for different props and different money lines, different leagues, so much going on. And this show brought to you by Sports Interaction, where every game is your game, from puck drop to overtime. Bet with Canada's homegrown sportsbook. It is 19 plus. Please play responsibly over at sportsinteraction.com/FlamesNation. Core 20 in the chat, just sort of pointing out the obvious. That is some tail. It's really bushy. Longtime viewers of the show, they know the cat has been wont to make an appearance. Hasn't made a full-fledged, full-body one yet, but I'm sure we'll get her on the show at some point. Hey, the Flames taking on the Buffalo Sabres tonight. We'll throw up the initial lines here from Sports Interaction. It's a pretty even one tonight. Both teams at -110. The spread set at 1.5, the over-under set at 6. So Sports Interaction kind of not picking sides in this particular matchup, and you can kind of understand why. The Flames and Sabres with somewhat similar records to this point in the season. The Flames currently third from last in the Western Conference with an 11-15-4 line through 30 games. Buffalo in the East, 11-13-4 through 28 games. The Sabres have the same number of points as the Flames this season, just with 2 fewer games played. Of course, the Flames have won back-to-back games. The Sabres have lost 2 in a row. So a little bit of trouble of paradise still in Buffalo. The Eastern Conference is as tight as ever, but we're starting to see a little bit of separation. And Buffalo has fallen to the very back of the Eastern Conference. The Calgary Flames, of course, surrounded by the likes of Vancouver, Nashville, St. Louis, Seattle. It's really anybody's race to the bottom in the West so far this season. The Flames, though, hardly alone anymore, at least, in 32nd in the National Hockey League, which they have occupied for a lot of the season today. Good to see some familiar faces in the chat. Spurlano 420 asking, when is Pospisil back? Buddy, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know if we're going to see Marty Pospisil back this month, this year. I don't know. He just signed a 3-year extension in the offseason, and it's been kind of crickets on the Marty Pospisil front, which is too bad. Good guy, good player. Hope to see him back at some point, but for now, no update on Marty Pospisil. Chucks JC, good to see you in the chat. Wise Mike, always strutting around South Center like he owns the place. Because it's my turf. It's my turf. I love South Center Mall. Got to get down there, do some more Christmas shopping. It's about that time of year, December 8th. Boy, it just flies. We're already a third of the way to Christmas. It's wild how quickly it's all going. Good to see Shrimp on the Bobby in the chat. I still can't do an Aussie accent. KQ4949, you know Hansik's out for the rest, probably the rest of the season, unless you haven't been watching this show, in which case, what are you doing, man? You got to tune into the Warmies. Yeah, Hansik's out. We expect 5-6 months. That's what the Flames have put out there as a timeline. So again, not expecting to see much of Samuel Hanzik for the rest of the season for the Calgary Flames. And KQ4949 asking what's wrong with Jake Bean. I don't know, but Hunter Brzustewicz. That's the big news of the day. Hunter Brzustewicz is up with the Calgary Flames. Now, he will not play tonight, we expect, against the Buffalo Sabres. We're going to get into the lines in a moment here. But Jake Bean is out. He's dealing with something. The Flames have been relatively mum as to what exactly he is dealing with. But Hunter Brzustewicz, the Calgary Wranglers sophomore, is now up with the Flames. And maybe we'll get a chance to see Hunter B at some point in the next little while. We'll talk a little bit more about Brzustewicz as the show goes on. Get your comments in there. Get your super chats in there. Super chats benefit the youth centers of Calgary. Doesn't matter which Flames Nation show you watch. They always go to the good cause, and you want to get in there because we'll read your chats up on the air. We'll read a lot of chats on the air regardless, but if you put in a super chat, we're guaranteed to read whatever you write on the air. You can say whatever you want. You can say I suck. You can say Dean, Ryan, Rhett, they all suck. Say whatever you want. Just keep it PG-13 at the very most. So maybe Pinder really sucks. He's not watching this show. I can get away with saying that. Hey, we'll get into the lines for the Calgary Flames, and we're going to expect a lot of the same. Morgan Frost between Jonathan Huberdeau and Matt Coronado. Nazem Kadri centering Yegor Sharangovich and Joel Farabee. Michael Backlund on the third line between Blake Coleman and Connor Zary. And Johnny Beecher on line number 4 between Adam Klapka and Ryan Lomberg. We'll be getting Ryan Pike on the air with us in about 10 minutes or so to break down if there's any changes or not from the Saddledome, but we're expecting that contingent of forwards, which has remained largely consistent over the last probably 6 weeks at this point. And on defense, pretty much, again, what we've expected, although Braden Bahal coming in the place of Jake Bean, Kevin Ball with Rasmus Anderson, the top pairing, as we've seen for most of the year, and Jan Kuznetsov alongside Mackenzie Weegar on P2, Joel Hanley, Braden Bahal's partner, on pairing number 3. I would expect if we see Hunter Brzustewicz at some point in the upcoming days and weeks, it'll probably be on the right side of that pairing with Joel Hanley. The Flames have gone left at a number of times this season on the third pair. Brzustewicz, of course, is a natural righty. He's had a really good start to the season with the Wranglers. He started off hot production-wise. The Wranglers have been on a very long trip recently on the road, and so everybody's production has gone down a little bit, Brzustewicz is included, but I think it's a timely reward for Hunter B to come up to the NHL. Being a third-round pick, 2023, I was chatting with Stephen Ellis, Daily Faceoff prospect guru, earlier today. He still thinks that Hunter B is better than his brother, Henry Brzustewicz, who was drafted by the LA Kings in the first round of this past draft. He's got Hunter ahead of Henry in his own sort of personal idea of these prospects around the league. So it just goes to show draft positioning isn't everything, and it's all about how players project after the draft as well. And Hunter has done an excellent job of maintaining an upward trajectory over the last couple of seasons here. But we're not going to see him tonight. It's going to be a relatively familiar Flames lineup, very similar to the one that beat the Utah Mammoth by a 2-0 score a couple nights ago. That was a good game, and we're going to tell you a little bit about some more props from Sports Interaction. Let's put one of those up on the screen, Michael, as I picked a couple of them out tonight. I would think it was kind of prescient putting up the one from the last game about how quickly the first goal would come, and then the Flames scored in the first 20 seconds. Well, here's one. Will both teams score one or more goals in the first period? I am leaning towards yes on this one. I think this is going to be an incredibly high-scoring game tonight. I'm expecting a lot of goals from both these teams. I think they're due to have a big night offensively. The Flames, of course, coming off a 1-0, what was essentially a 1-0 game against Utah the other night. I think it's going to be a barn burner, not to steal the name of another show here tonight. So I'd maybe lean towards yes. That's pretty favorable at plus 170 over at the SI. And let's go to the other one, Michael. We had another prop that we pulled up from the good folks over at Sports Interaction. Team to score the first goal. So in the first period. Well, if I'm saying both teams are going to score in the first, I don't think I'm going to go with plus 400 no goal. It's a good way to hedge your bets, but I don't think I'm going to go no goal. I don't know. The Flames scored first last game. I think Buffalo's going to score first, and I think the Flames are going to counter right back. So just a couple of little ideas. You can head over to Sports Interaction. They got all the different props. When I was looking at these, I think they had like 80 of them just for this one game. So you can imagine there's like how many games going on across the different sports and the different leagues in the world, in the globe tonight. Lots of stuff to choose from. Sports Interaction brings you closer to the action with real-time betting. You can bet while the action unfolds with extensive betting options, 100-plus markets per game, including player props, futures, and more. You can build your bet with same-game parlays with easy deposits and payouts. You get Interact, e-transfer, and other top payment options. With Sports Interaction, just head over to sportsinteraction.com/ Flames Nation. Shrimp on the Bobby, we are getting Pike from the Dome in a little bit here, probably the next 5-10 minutes. Stephen Cummings, 7615, with a great question. Did they get to you, Mike? Are you carrying water now for this stupid org? Are you now trying to sell us on this being a playoff team? No, Stephen, I've got 52 more of these shows to do, and I'm just trying to enjoy them. Quite frankly, the Flames are a bad team. They're 30th in the National Hockey League. I don't think in any fiber of my being that they're going to push for being a playoff spot. But you know what? There's a lot of hockey left to play. That's both a positive and a negative, as far as I see it. And I derive a number of different positives from watching this team. I enjoy watching the players on this team. I think there are pieces on this team who could be good pieces in the future. And even if they're not, I enjoy watching each game to sort of see how the different prospective trade pieces do. I think it has been fun to watch the lines over the last month or so coalesce after they were just shuffled ad nauseum to start the year. We have seen guys like Yegor Sharangovich and Matt Coronado and Connor Zary have legitimately strong stretches over the last few weeks. I mean, it just sort of makes you remember how awful it was watching when guys like Coronado were healthy scratches. It was miserable. And I, quite frankly, don't really like being miserable. So I think the Flames have plenty of capacity to play entertaining hockey and win games while still being bad. And that's just the way that I see it. We're not rights holders. We're not beholden to the organization in any sense. I just think it gets really old to sort of continue on hammering on the negatives every single game. And there are lots of folks out there who do that. And quite frankly, I've been guilty of doing that before. I just, it's a Monday night. Just got home from my day job. I'm looking forward to watching a game tonight between the Flames and the Buffalo Sabres. I think there's a lot to ascertain from this, and that's just the way that I see it. But yeah, hey, I certainly don't begrudge anybody who is cheering for whatever they want. You can cheer for the team to win. You can cheer for the team to lose. You can cheer for draft positioning. You can be hammering refresh on Tankathon every morning. Yeah, I've been there. I've done that. Like, do you, man. I'm just trying to sort of put out the energy that I feel deserves to be out there. And that's just how I feel. I'm looking forward to watching tonight's game. So, but yeah, no, nobody's gotten to me. There's no parasite. There's no infection. This isn't an RFK situation. Okay. We're just going to leave it right there. No worm in the brain. Not from me. Jack Rose in the chat saying, Mike, sorry for missing most of your show, watching the Circle K Classic pool reveal to see where the Beaumark Oilers go. Jack, that's going to be a lot of fun. Circle K Classic happening over at the Max Bell just after Boxing Day. A couple of really great tournaments just around town. Want to give a shout out to the Circle K Classic. The Viking Cup up in Camrose is coming back later in December. That's going to be a lot of fun. There's all sorts of great youth tournaments, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the hockey world. I mean, if you find the Flames to be a boring team to watch, if you find the Flames to be a team that you don't want to watch because you don't want to cheer for them to lose, go watch some of this amateur hockey. Go watch the Circle K. Go watch the Viking Cup up in Camrose. Go watch some AAA. Go watch the AJ or the BCHL. There's all sorts of stuff going on. But I like watching the Flames. Come on. I wouldn't be doing this show if I didn't like watching the Flames. So there we go. Hey, and I really appreciate all the comments. And Steven, you keep watching. You keep watching the show. I think over time, I just continue to have faith. I understand that you lost faith, but we all have to sort of have to just wait and watch things unfold, right? So that's the way that I feel. But again, you do you. Good stuff in the comments. There's all sorts of great stuff. Kent Wilson asking if he can chat for if he can cheer for 16th overall. Absolutely, you can. And you know what? There's a really nice executive suite at the Saddledome. I think they got some extra seats in there just for you, Kent. Bring a +1. We're going to get into the Buffalo lineup. We should mention, of course, Dustin Wolf starting for Calgary tonight. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is expected to go for the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo's been running with a 3-goalie rotation this season, and that's not including Devin Levi, who is in the American Hockey League for them and was at one point was viewed as sort of a contemporary of Dustin Wolf's as a top skill, a smaller goalie prospect coming up with incredible numbers. Levi hasn't really progressed in the same way. And the Sabres have Alex Lyon, Colton Ellis, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in the NHL for them. And UPL will get the start in today's game. There's been lots of discussion about whether the Sabres will trade this guy, and they have not, to this point, really explored that, but we shall see. The Sabres forward lines are kind of interesting. The Sabres have been a team that have fascinated me for quite some time. Recently, they had Isaac Rosen and Noah Ostlund, who were playing sort of, significant minutes for them while they had some guys who were out with injury. Well, the Sabres have kind of taken a bit of a cowardly route, in my opinion, and demoted both those guys who were playing sort of some of their better minutes in favor of playing guys like Jordan Greenway on their top line. So the Sabres have Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, and Jordan Greenway. Don't really know why Lindy Ruff and Kevin Adams are going in that direction, but hey, if you're cheering for the Flames tonight, that's not bad news. Josh Norris is back. He is healthy. He is centering the Sabres' second line with Zach Benson and Josh Doan, which on paper to me actually looks better than that top line. Ryan McLeod between Jack Quinn and Jason Zucker on line number 3, and future Flame Peyton Krebs on the fourth line with Tyson Kozak and Beck Malenstein. Malenstein, a former Calgary Hitman, for the local connections there. We'll have Pike on in a minute here to talk a little bit about the Hitman. He was at the game last night, the teddy bear toss. But yeah, a little bit puzzling for the Sabres to have Jordan Greenway on their top line with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck when they're running with 3 goaltenders, and they had guys like Ostlund and Isaac Rosen who were undeniably playing better hockey. But can't complain about it from a Flames standpoint. Let's go to the defense for the Buffalo Sabres. Mattias Samuelsson with Rasmus Dahlin. That's been a pretty good pairing for the Sabres all year. Another future Flame and Bowen Byram on the left side of Connor Timmins. And then on P3, it is Owen Power with Jacob Bryson. So, again, not a bad lineup on paper. Just for whatever reason, it has never been able to coalesce for the Sabres under the ownership of Terry Pegula. And this year is not looking a whole lot different. And it's just these weird small things that the Sabres do that organizations that are run very well don't seem to do. KQ4949 asking what I mean by future Flame. I mean, come on. The Peyton Krebs and Bo Byram, you mean to tell me the Flames wouldn't want these guys? I don't know. They just sort of fit the mold of the same types of guys that they've been acquiring the last few years, sort of in their mid-20s, relatively highly touted, maybe not living up 100% to their draft pedigree. You mean to tell me that you wouldn't believe it if the Flames traded for Bo Byram and Peyton Krebs? I'd believe it. I think that's probably going to happen. We'll see. I'm going to call my shot right now. That 26 Vegas first will be burning a hole in their pockets as well. Sorry, Stephen Cummings. Now I'm the one despairing live on air. So no, we'll see. Maybe it'll happen. So Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen versus Dustin Wolf is the goaltending matchup tonight. We should mention UPL stats. He is 4-4-1 with an .895 save percentage this season. So let's have a look. Brian Pike is going to come onto the show. We're going to bring on Pike live from the Saddle Dome. I'm told that he has an external microphone.
Hello.
Pike. How's it going at the Dome tonight?
Fewer teddy bears than yesterday, but still not bad.
Yeah. Tell us about it. You were at the teddy bear toss with the Hitman last night. What was that experience like?
Great crowd. It was the latest teddy bear goal in event history. They scored with 7:05 left in regulation, so people stuck around for a while, and then the building kind of cleared out because 4:00 start. If you got hungry kids who've been waiting for 2.5 periods to throw stuff, I get it. But hell of a crowd, really loud, really engaged, really attentive. They were on the edge of their seats, and the Hitmen didn't win, but it was a pretty entertaining game overall.
Yeah, I haven't been to the teddy bear toss in a few years. I was debating going, but I had some other stuff on the go. It's always such a great experience. I remember, the Brett Sawney years going in those. Remember, who's a Hitman from the past who you enjoyed watching, Pike?
I really enjoyed Pavel Padakin. He was always entertaining. Who can forget great Flames prospect Pavel Karnahuov. And honestly, I'll say this, Flames fans, I'm going to be accused of pumping tires, and I don't care. You're gonna love Axel Hurtig. There was a a fourth liner for Wenatchee who was just trying to slip by him on the side, and you could have sworn it was Rhett Warner there closing him out. Or better yet, I mentioned to it after the game. I told him about Rob McGear's tunnel of death and just crushing poor souls on the left side of the ice, and he sort of smiled and laughed a bit. And then the kid got up and was a little bit cranky that he got crushed and threw a hit, and it just bounced off of Axel Hertig. So he's a big boy. He's probe ready already, at least from size.
Wasn't it Pavlo Padakin Pike? Come on.
I don't care. He scored 2 Teddy Bear goals. Really good hitting. Good junior player. Hasn't his pro career in North America didn't really pan out, but I believe he's still playing somewhere in Europe.
One thing you can always count upon whenever Ryan Pike makes an appearance on one of these shows is you're going to hear either a mention of Axel Hertig or Lucas Siona. He loves his WHL boys, and they're no exception.
That's right. And we'd be remiss if we did not talk about point per game Hunter Lang of the Saskatoon Flames.
Of course, that just completes the set, doesn't it? I like the blue snowball Pike, or I guess that's a Yeti Nano, probably. That's fantastic microphone. I think Matt C was giving you a bit of gears for bringing the biggest mic you could find, but it looks good on you.
The small mics are so useless. Like, I feel like authoritative just waving this thing around the press box.
Matt C saying he hopes Pike gets a bigger mic each time he does this show. It'd be a great running gag. It's like the Simpsons episode where they've you should disguise it inside a giant novelty hat.
Or I could bring one of those boom mics where it just looks like a giant Q-tip.
That's right. It's a novelty item around the holidays for sure. Hey, Pike, let's get your thoughts a little bit on the game tonight. The Flames and the Sabres have met once already this season,
and the Flames wildly outplayed them. It was one of those games that could convince some people that the Calgary Flames might be able to do some interesting things if they get a little bit more scoring touch to their lineup.
One line I want to ask you about a little bit, Pike, because they've been playing so well the last probably 10, 15 games is, I think a lot of the Flames' success more recently can be distilled down to just having consistent lines in general, which was something they absolutely did not have the first month of the season. But I want to talk to you a little bit about that second line of Nazem Kadri, Joel Farabee, and Yegor Sharangovich. They combined for the only goal against Vitek Vanacek in the game against Utah.
16 seconds in.
That's right. Back again, unified tonight. Just what makes that line work?
I mean, I'll say this. I think it's natural. Like, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't think anyone really loves Joel Farabee's contract. The contract's the contract. I think Joel Farabee's been one of the better Flames all year. He's working his butt off, and he's one of those guys that I brought this before. I call it the James Neal test. If you're not scoring, are you doing enough? Are you doing things that make you useful? And I would say, yeah, he's killing penalties. He's on the power play, and he's the guy that Nazem Kadri is a great finisher. He can make some passes. Sharangovich is a great finisher when he goes to the dirty areas. Joel Farabee lives there. He's the go-get-it guy in that line, and when he's effective at it, the line has the puck a lot, and I think he's been effective more often than not.
Yeah, believe it or not, was looking at some numbers today. No Flames forward has been on the ice for more shots for in the last 10 games than Yegor Sharangovich. A good question coming in from Calgary Anand, our buddy. Question to both of us: do you think Brzustewicz will get at least a game in the near future?
Maybe. I think it depends on what's going on with Jake Bean. I'll say this: I mean, Brzustewicz has been really, really, really good with the Wranglers, and a lot of the credit for that last year had to go to Yank Kuznetsov for giving him someone reliable to play with, much like he's given Mackenzie Weegar a reliable partner this year. But Brzustewicz has been sort of has to be the guy on his pairings this year with the Wranglers, and he's been the Wranglers' best defenseman by far. And so, at the very least, he's going to get a chance.
Well, and how much of this do you think it plays into the fact, or not the fact, but the idea that the Flames are, also just motivated to see what they have with all the obvious talk around Rasmus?
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I think, let's be honest here. I mean, they had problems in their lineup. Like the forwards, I think they just need to get some consistency, and the fact that you never want to rely on injuries, but Honzek's essentially done for the year. Pospisil does not have a stall right now, so he's not coming back anytime soon. So they've been able to give guys consistent roles and consistent ice time. On the blue line, they didn't really get to do that until Kuznetsov came up and everything sort of solidified. And so, all right, they have consistent forward lines. The top two defensive pairings have solidified. But what the hell's going on with the third pair? So, they're working their way down the problems list. The goaltending's been figured out more or less. And so now, if you can, you have the ability with some roster flexibility to try out Brzustewicz.
It's a really good problem for the Flames to have, having all these bodies who are pushing for action, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how things unfold here over the next little while. One last question from you, one last topic we want to get to. World Junior stuff. Parek's going, and now Cole Reshny invited to Canada Camp. We all expect he'll be on that team as well. Just how exciting is it for the Flames to have probably 2 Canadian reps for the first time in half a decade?
Oh, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say the organization's really excited, and I think moreover they're excited for the players because like Cole Reshny, really he had a fantastic U18s last year. He went from being a guy that people were like, oh, somewhere in the first round to being a surefire high first rounder last year because he was so good in the World and so good in the playoffs. And so I think he has another chance to really put a punctuation mark on this season. He's been really good as a freshman for Nodak, and I think he has a chance to be a really big player for Team Canada this year.
Really good food for thought, Pike. And hey, maybe next year it'll be a couple of Americans representing the Flames in Cullen Potter and Ethan Wittenbach, both of whom are eligible to return next year, as is Cole Reshny for Team Canada. Lots of exciting stuff. And we haven't even gotten to the 26 draftees yet.
And Stocksilius.
And Theo Stocksilius, that's right. So lots and lots of Flames content coming up at the World Juniors. Looks like things are about to get started there. We'll let you go. Thanks again, Pike. Appreciate it as always.
See you next time.
That is Ryan Pike, our buddy, managing editor over at Flames Nation, a man who is 0% AI generated, as is everything that you see in print on that Flames Nation webpage, putting that out there for absolutely no reason on this Monday evening. Hey, folks, it's been a whole lot of fun on this Monday evening edition of the Warmies show, the Flames taking on the Buffalo Sabres, just past the top of the hour. There's so much to talk about. There's all sorts of storylines to come out of today's game. I'm just super fascinated to see both these teams. The Buffalo Sabres just have so much upside, but they haven't been able to truly realize it. They're a team that is able to put together really good 60-minute efforts, but they just, for whatever reason, haven't been able to finish it off all the time. So they're good. It's in spurts. The Flames are good in spurts. I wouldn't go as far as to call either of these teams good, but I think it could be a very entertaining game tonight. And at this point of the season, that's all I really care about. And for y'all, I mean, depends on what you're cheering for, but I'm not going to yuck your yum, whatever it is. Folks, we appreciate it as always. The comments have been fantastic. Before we head off, we encourage you all to leave us a like to let the folks, the powers that be, know that you like this show. It's always appreciated. Our thanks to the folks over at Sports Interaction. One more time, go to sportsinteraction.com/FlamesNation for all sorts of great props, 100+ markets per game. There's all sorts of stuff happening over at Sports Interaction. So go to sportsinteraction.com/FlamesNation. I'm just so privileged and happy to be with you in the Sports Interaction studio as always. Thrilled to be part of this Flames Nation network. Can't give enough thanks to the good folks at head office who have supplied me with so much support and all this incredible gear. It's a wonderful experience, and we're maybe it's just me feeling a little sentimental as we get towards the holidays, but it means a lot to have all of you in the chat and to be able to make something out of watching hockey with some good folks. So our thanks to Ryan Pike, our thanks to producer Michael out in the Netherland that is Ontario, and to everybody at the Nation Network. You know what? It's a wonderful night, Matt C. It's a warm sentiment, and it is deserved to all of you who tune in and make these shows possible. So thanks again. Enjoy the Flames versus the Buffalo Sabres. And for all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in to the Warmies.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.